Okay. We just had a really fun kind of flurry of lunch making. Everybody here knows this, but people watching probably don't know that we're, or may you'll notice because of who shows up or doesn't, but we're down to a very small group at the Abbey at the moment. Many of the nuns are traveling, and so it's 4 of us, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus our new residents / long-term guests. So anyway, it's down to 8. There was a time when having 8 people here was like a lot. And it wasn't that long ago. Now having 8 people here doesn't feel like very many at all. There was a time when we had 5 nuns here and it was like, wow, there are 5 nuns. 5 monastics. 5 monastics. That was a big deal. And now it feels kind of, well, like we're down. But anyway, we're taking advantage of this, I'm taking advantage of this to really share with our new residents and long-term guests about working in the kitchen. So we very quickly put lunch together today, but with 4 people working together it goes fast. But I don't think we have ever shared the offering service verse that we do for preparing food. You know, we've talked, many times we've talked about how it is that we set our minds in offering service. But some years ago, Venerable Children wrote some verses that are particularly towards preparing a meal, and I hope they're on our website. If not, I will take the commitment now to make sure that they go up on TibetanChildren.org and SravastiAbbey.org. But it's a wonderful way to prepare your mind to prepare a meal for Dharma practitioners. And so maybe you have to prepare a mind for for preparing a meal for your family. So you can adapt that. But you know, you don't always want to go into one does not always go into the kitchen with a joyful mind. And the kitchen is a place where a lot of our conditioning can flare up or arise. It can play itself out. There's many different ways to describe it. But these verses are really wonderful to keep in mind, and we start preparing a meal with these verses, and then also to try to touch into this motivation throughout the day, and that makes the whole activity of preparing the meal, first of all, a virtuous and dharmic activity, and secondly, it really helps us get in touch with how does it feel to really feed people. You know, how does it feel to really nurture and care and make sure that people are well cared for? So not to feed their attachment, which is, you know, where we tend to slide, but to feed our bodies and to offer something that's pleasing so that we can continue to practice our Dharma. That's really the point. So I'll just read the verses. We are going to offer service by preparing a meal for the community of Dharma practitioners. How fortunate we are to have the opportunity to prepare and cook this food. The food will nourish their bodies, and the love we put into preparing it will nourish their hearts. Preparing food is an expression of our kind heart. When we chop, mix, and cook, we will work with mindfulness and a relaxed mind. That's a practice. We will leave aside idle talk and speak with gentle and low voices. The menu will be simple and healthy, free from the distraction of elaborate and complicated menus. We will wash the veggies and fruits well, thinking that we are cleansing defilements from the minds of sentient beings with the nectar of wisdom. Out of consideration for those who will clean up after the meal, we will tidy up after ourselves. That's also a practice. Let's take joy in working harmoniously together for the benefit of all. Some days that's also a practice. Today it was really fun. So keeping these kinds of things in mind, this is not like added pressure. It's not like, oh gosh, if I go in the kitchen I can't leave stuff sitting on the counter at the end of the meal. I've got to rush and get done. Or it's not like, I made too much. I probably made too much squash today. It's not to give fuel to note our mistakes. It's to give us an understanding of how to hold our minds and how to really take that opportunity to to develop our bodhicitta and recognize that we are supporting people who are trying to become Buddhas. We're supporting people who are trying to keep good ethics and who are trying to understand the nature of reality here. Or if you're in a family, we're supporting people with whom we have an interdependent relationship that takes everybody together to make this work. So it's a very beautiful prayer, and I just offer it for all of us. Sometimes we get out of the habit of doing it before we cook. So it's good to remind us, each one of us, when we go in there, even for breakfast, to bring this to mind and let that be the motivation with which we put food on the table, and in that way everybody benefits. The food will nourish their bodies, and the love we put into preparing it will nourish their hearts and ours.